Hey guys, and welcome to Trophies Achieved. Today I'll be going over the Norushen 25-man strategy and how to get this achievement. Firstly, your raid should consist of 2 tanks, 5 to 6 healers, and a mixture of DPS. And that pretty much does it for the setup. Next, on to mechanics. Straight away when you start the encounter you will notice a corruption bar. Depending on the amount of corruption you have will depend on the amount of damage you can do to the boss. Everyone starts off with a blanket of 75 corruption, and that will reduce all the damage you do to the boss by 50%. Now I'm sure you're all wondering how it is you get rid of said corruption. Well, it's quite simple. There are orbs scattered across the room. They spawn in fixed places and we respawn after around 30 seconds of a player clicking on them. And this is where the lovely fresh tests come into play. Depending on your spec, once you click on the orb, you'll phase out into a different reality, and you will face the test. If you're a tank, kill the ad or survive its damage for a minute, dodge its frontal cone and interrupt its interruptible cast. If you're a DPS, simply kill the ads, and if you're a healer, kill the friendly NPCs. After you complete these tests, you'll rephase into reality with 0 corruption, allowing you to do increased damage to the boss. Make sure that you've got your groups set up going into the orbs. Remember that there are 5 orbs that spawn around the room. Your tanks will need to keep one of these orbs to themselves to reset corruption. The tank switch debuff, it'll also give you extra corruption, and when you're tanking there's an ad that you will be tanking as well, which is the manifestation corruption, and that will also give you more corruption. So that's why tanks really do need that orb to themselves. Everyone else can just be assigned to the 4 remaining ones. We just marked north, east, south and west parts of the room, and that seemed to do the trick quite nicely. Apart from that, there are a few additional mechanics to take note on. Firstly, when a DPS inside the test kills an ad, it will reappear on the outside reality. DPS simply need to kill these quickly. If you don't, the boss gains 5% additional damage and it stacks. However, it only lasts 15 seconds, so it's not the end of the world if one of the ads do get a caster onto the boss. Your raid should be clumped up behind the boss for AoE heals, because shamans aren't OP now, and resto druids, and yeah, yay. Anyway, the boss will do something called blind hatred. This is the mechanic you need to pay attention to. Do you remember Juramu's death beam? Yeah, it's back already. Simply run around as a group and make sure not to be hit by the beam. This lasts 30 seconds and it is cast every minute. So again, it's not a really hard mechanic, but if you do get caught out by it, it will kill you. Last ad you need to worry about is the manifestation of corruption, which we were just talking about earlier. Kill them quickly. They leave a puddle of corruption, and basically whoever is taking the next orb, like any of the 5 people that are taking the orbs, you should jump into that puddle and soak it, otherwise it will just continually do pulsating raid AoE. That's why, and obviously it's important that the person who's going into the orb takes it, because their corruption gets reset when they come out. Yeah, so there we go. Oh yeah, every time you kill an ad in the reality, the boss takes damage. A slight incentive to kill them nice and quickly. When it comes down to it, this boss is actually quite fun and easy to learn. Stand behind the boss together, assign people going to the orbs, kill ads outside the test and inside the test, unless you're a healer of course, and that would probably screw your phase over. Move around as a team when the blind hatred comes, that's the beam, and nuke the boss. When at least 75% of your raid has 0 corruption, just hero and nuke the boss. We found that when the boss reached around 50% was a good time to use Bloodlust, but again it really depends on what raid structure you have. Thanks for watching guys. If you're interested in any other bosses, they will be posted up on this channel shortly. Take care.